We're gonna do this little recap on Facebook today. I cleared my chart just so I can show a recharted one. Kind of give a little simple idea as to like how I chart. Just some levels that I'm looking, and this is the weekly chart. Something that I always chart on is the weekly. This is where I start. This is where I get the major levels. Just take note of those things here. Okay, let's get some tops right here. All right, and that's kind of like all I really care about right there. Maybe this little speed bump. All right. All right, so I got my levels dropped down to the 4-hour now. Here we go. So Facebook has been good to us, but yesterday I woke up on a red day due to this news. Sorry if you guys were in it. Unfortunately, we got that Trump tweet right here, which was pretty horrible for me, but it's all right. I haven't had a red day in a long time, but this red day kind of hurt me, which is bound to happen. And again, I haven't had a red day in a good while, but this was a nice red day for me, and it's all good. It's part of the game. It's part of what we do. It's part of trading, and the question is the next day is how are you going to handle it when you wake up red, emotionally, mentally. What are you going to do? Are you in recovery mode? Did you have a game plan? Those are some of the things that I always talk about with my guys, and this is something that you should always take into consideration when you're trading, especially in this journey, because this journey is stressful for some people. For some people, it can be a little more crazier. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so actually had the 265 calls right here. The funny thing about this is that I ended up holding this when I bought it, was red right here throughout the day. Ended up coming back up green, and as soon as I posted green on here, the freaking Trump tweet comes out and it blows through the freaking market. And that's what happened to me. I ended up being red. I held it. So the reason I held Facebook on this specific day was the fact that lately the volatility has been up and down in the market, and every time there's a red day with aggressive selling, it ends up recovering within the next 2 days. And look exactly what it did. Okay, so if you go back and look at the past like two weeks and a half around there, you'll see that every time we get one of those tweets or some type of news comes out, we end up being at resistance, in the market in general, and some of those stocks pull back all the way and we get aggressive selling just like this. So this is why I didn't sell. Nonetheless, I did take that red day, and it was a heavy one for me. But again, it's part of the game. And something that I did understand though, looking back, I just want to show you on Facebook. Here we have this, okay, something that, I should have looked at. Okay, here's your those weekly levels, right? What do you guys see right there? That's support, okay? So support on the weekly level. And then you have this top right here. Okay, but here we go. What happens is here, like, look, this is like your double bottom weekly support. A major area to keep in consideration when you're looking at Facebook. And the drop wasn't really that crazy. It was just an aggressive pullback. So Facebook, Google, I believe Apple, some of the techs had some news as well. So it was the Trump tweet, the resistance at 265, the news that it had on the techs. So everything about it just dropped, and it basically broke trend on the 4-hour from this range right here. Look at this. Okay, so this is what I was looking at, this range right here. It's a nice little range. I don't care about this little top. There's nothing really going on here. But this is where all the price action is happening. And yeah, I should have looked at the bigger picture before I cut my call. Here we go. So we have this top, okay. We have this little gap fill right there. Okay, so basically what you're looking at is the weekly support, created a double bottom basically right here, or triple if you want to call that, and broke above this high. So it created this new high up here. It created a range. Okay, and then right here, when we had that tweet, it broke the pattern, it came up here, and if you can see that, we retested that 260 level, and that's when I ended up cutting my call for a loss. It could have been way bigger if had I let it drop down here with theta kicking in. And I looked at my contract today when it hit this high today, and the contract would have still been red, maybe like $1 versus like I took like a $3 hit on that one. I think that's what it was. So what I like about Facebook now is the fact that we did bounce at that same support. So you have 3 supports right here. So we have the resistance, here it turned support, and now here it validated the support. Okay, so we're coming against up on top of this range, and we did post a call out for this one as well. For the 270, October 23rd, I believe it was, for about 490. Okay, so that one should still be in play. The only way that you should get stopped out of this is breaking down below this area right here. Otherwise, you're gonna see some red candles. You're gonna be down for a little bit. You're gonna be up. You're gonna be down. You're gonna be up. It's gonna be part of the play, because we're coming up against this range, and you guys know that I love breakouts. All right, so that's 265. At the 265 over that's a good area to just start taking profit, if that's what you guys want to do. But otherwise, it still has a lot of room to go. So looking at this bigger picture, right, you're looking at a 307, right? We came down to 245. Okay, now we're hitting basically 270, and you still have all this room up here. Okay, for those who use Fibonacci's, do the 50%, the 75, whatever you guys play. I don't know, but this would be ultimately one of the targets. Of course, you need a green market. Okay, you just want to get the meat of the candle bodies, the wicks, and everything. You want where all the price action is going on, and that's your ultimate target right there. Just that level. So that's Facebook. Now, the one thing I really do want to talk about and want to touch base on, okay, despite the charting and everything, okay, it's part of the emotion of trading, okay, and today I had Facebook. Today I had Facebook on the watch list, okay. This actually, something that Bueller's mentioned before. He says always look at those pre-markets. So when they're creating patterns, take it into consideration, because it's going to be that extra boost that you need in order for this stock to either push up, push down, whatever direction it may be. This is something I noticed, and I knew that here, once we held this support, even the team knew that this was support. Someone had messaged me in Bueller's group too. He asked me, he goes, hey, what can I take you along at 259? I said, just wait till 260. So at 260, the break above, and he had asked me, I said, because we broke a pattern. So we broke this range and we came down. And what we did here is we retested, right, the 260. We retested, and we basically dropped some more and then held all day and came back up. And then today, this is what we were watching, the break of 260 into the 265. And technically, you're still in this top range, so this is good. If it holds all its gains throughout the day, power hour pushes to the top, this is going to be great for a swing into tomorrow. It could be tomorrow. It can be, a few days from now, a week from now. It can be a solid swing play. Anyways, the point of this specific entry point that we're going to talk about today is the fact that I took a red day on this day here. So I closed my day Tuesday. I closed red. Okay, on Wednesday I opened up, and I still opened up red. So my day was red on Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday. So basically, I will consider this as one day being red because this day I ended up taking a few green trades, but nonetheless, I was red because of Facebook. It was a heavier position for me. So I was in recovery mode on Wednesday. Recovery mode, when I say recovery mode, it's not that I'm automatically selling my position, is I'm making sure that all my other positions are safe plays. I'm not taking some wild positions, you know. I'm not going too crazy, I'm not going too heavy. I'm basically recovering the big loss that I had. So let's just say I had a 1K loss. My goal is to make up, you know, a small percentage of that, and I'll start with the 10%. From there, I'll try hitting, you know, the 5, 15, 20% around there. And I'm taking that into consideration because I want to make sure that my emotions are in check on this day. And that is my recovery mode. So recovery mode on this red day, I'm trying to minimize my losses and not trying to look at the P&L because the emotions get in the way. Usually when I'm in my positions, I always tell my guys, like, I don't know where I'm at, but I do know that I'm getting my alerts, and that's what I'm following. I'm following the candles, I'm following the plan, and I'll get out when it hits target. And my guys know, they always asking me where I'm at. My answer is, I don't know. I'm waiting till my alert hits. Okay. Now, the thing about this play here was that I've already taken a loss, you know, the past 2 days. So today, there was still a little emotion behind this whole play today, and therefore I was only able to scalp this play. So the reason I scalped it was the fact that I took a loss on it the previous 2 days. Even though the setup was clean, it was perfect here. Even Bueller had this on his watch list. He posted it this morning. And no, we did not plan on it. We just have the same levels. We have our same entries. We have the same targets. He had the same targets as I did, except, you know, my zone is bigger, but yet the zones are still matching his targets. If you go look at Bueller's watch list, you look at my zones, they're all the same, which makes us a great team. So today, me and the guys at Open, we saw Facebook pushing, but we also saw, here, this right here, this is what we're looking at. So we always look at the ES, okay? We don't look at SPY, we look at the ES. Okay, a lot of people will call this chop right here. And I will agree with you on this one for today. Just today. I don't like the word chop. So right here, this is where ES opened this red candle right here. And then we get this green candle, and then we get this red candle. So yes, I agree with you. When you want to use the word chop, I will agree with you on this specific day. Any other day, I will probably tell you no. So here, the one thing that I always teach my guys to look at is what stock is holding through the sell-off in the market. A lot of the tech names were pulling back. Some of the financials were holding a bit. Nonetheless, around the same time, everything was selling off except for Facebook. Facebook here was struggling a little bit to come up, but nonetheless, it was holding. Here, I'll go with the 5 minute. It was still holding, but right here, you see how we hit the 261. We dropped all the way back down to this 260. This is the 5 minute. So on the 5 minute, this thing was fluctuating up and down right here, almost in that indecision where the market's coming down and Facebook is trying to hold with a indecision bias. So for this reason, I did not like the fact that we couldn't get over 261, but we did enter right here. We entered I think it was like 260.30 around here. We were green already, 260.50, 60.80. I ended up getting out right here, really basically on that one, this one candle. I know the other guys held it just for a little bit longer, but nonetheless, they took profit. And the market was, you know, still coming down, up and down right here. And Facebook held actually, and it hit those targets. but I actually got out because I did not like it. The reason, you know, part of the big reason when we're in these trades is the fact that when we trade a ticker and we have a bad experience, you know, previously, you don't realize it, but the emotions come and kick in, and they always tell you, hey, you just took a big loss on this, you know, the previous few days. Every time, or I hear this a lot, every time I trade this specific ticker, I end up red. Or, you know, you hear one of those like, I always have bad luck with this ticker. um, I always try to buy the dip, but it doesn't work out with this specific ticker. You know, you hear all these reasonings as to why you're red in that specific ticker. So when you go and trade it, automatically your emotions, your gut feeling that you're going to get, it's going to be like, you know, I'm going to have a red day with this ticker, so I need to get out, or I am not going to trade this. Or you get FOMO and it's pushing up, and then you get in, and the next thing you know, it pulls back, so you get out, and then you take it for a loss. And that is the thing about, you know, having these emotions, you know, from the previous few days. So that's why when we're trading stocks, is you got to come in with a fresh mindset. And as hard as it is, you know, to do that, it's part of it. And this is something that we have to overcome. This is something that I struggled with today, and I'm here to admit it, that yes, we all come with these emotions. And yes, even though the plan was perfect, this setup was perfect, I still ended up taking profits at 261. Nonetheless, I came out with a green trade. But for me, it was a scalp versus, you know, a hold. And usually I hold longer than one candle. But is this something that's, you know, understandable when it comes to like these emotions? I know that, you know, there's no real remedy for all these things to overcome it. But I know that the motivation sometimes and understanding that we all go through the same thing can be, you know, beneficial for other traders, because every trader goes through the same thing. And you're not alone. If you're out there and you took a trade and you're not letting your winners run, you're not alone. Believe me, that was me today. I ended up taking a small profit. The other guys ended up taking a bigger profit than me. But it's all good, guys. Like, it's not the end of the world. You know, we're still trading, we're still living, and we're still learning, we're still growing. And I'm taking this as a learning experience for me, because again, trading, it's all about learning. You know, I'm not a freaking guru. I'm not any of those things. I'm just a simple trader. Right, Nick?
Mm-hmm.
But that
Nope.
is my
You the goat.
you know, this is us just, you know, talking about emotions and us talking about a trade that we took today. You know, it's a simple recap.
Yep.
Just YOLO it all, man. They're right.
Just buy the dip.
Stocks only go up anyways.
Yes, what they say. But your emotions go up too. Your emotions go up, your emotions go down. Another thing too, you know, when it comes to emotions, let's talk about BA real quick. No, you know what? Sorry, I was gonna go over BABA real quick. I called this out yesterday, right before close. Okay, right here. So the reason I called it out right before closing, right? Because if you watch my previous video on BABA, it basically talks about this whole area down here in the bottom. And if you haven't watched it, please go back and watch it. It's going to be very beneficial as to why I call this one out. And you have to understand the characteristics of BABA itself. So this whole area, this is what I made the video on with BABA. Now the same, watch this video first, the BABA video, and then watch this one. It'll explain exactly what I'm going to tell you now. Okay, Baba has a tendency to gap fill. Okay, here we go. Gap fill, retrace, back down, right? Gap fill, retrace, back down, right? Gap fill, back down, retrace, and we push up. This was a gap and go. Bigger time frame gives you all the answers to your swing plays, and bigger time frames will help you hold your positions longer because technically the trend never changed on this specific play. So this is why I called this one out. I already knew that once we had this gap fill, this sell-off was amazing. This sell-off was the dip buy to push it into the next day for the gap and go. And it held right here. So anybody who was in this play automatically woke up red. Whoever got in right before closing ended up closing red. Here, we ended up getting into this trade for a day trade. So we got in, same thing. We got in right when we saw this engulfing candle on the 15. This is what I trade on. I saw this and we got in right here. I know Steven ended up taking profit right here. I ended up holding it. I actually walked off to just go give my kids some breakfast real quick and then come back. And then we see this, and then I ended up selling up here up top. The target was 302. It hit 302. That is the perfect time for everybody to get out. And then here, the 300.50 was the trail stop. So I gave trail stops for everybody to take this position. For this one, I actually held the whole thing through. I got in, took profit, and then got back in, and then took profit again. So this is actually still in good for a swing. Now the next profit taking would be like the 305, and then you look for the 305, 308, 310. And again, if you watched my Baba video, you'd understand basically what I just explained in Baba. This was actually a very good play, and I was able to hold this one longer than I did with Facebook. And that is the difference between taking a trade when you're emotional. I understood this setup a lot more. I haven't taken a red trade with Baba. So this was actually a green one. So see the difference now with taking this Baba play versus that Facebook play. The Facebook play, I had a little more emotional bias, understanding that I had taken a big loss the past 2 days, and I come in to scalp versus trying to hold that play a little longer, you know, to let my winner run. Even though the setup was perfect, I was still just scalping that specific play because my bias, my emotion was already in there. So that's why I did that. Versus Baba, I haven't taken a red trade with it. So I was able to hold this one a lot longer and make a bigger profit on this one because I understood the characteristics of it. I understood the support and resistance. I understood everything that is going on with Baba. And I know a lot of the guys in Bueller's chat also traded this too. Bueller had the same thing. I believe we had the same levels, but we got in right here. This like 298, 299 was our second entry. And then the break of 300 was let it go to the 302. So that was a good play. How's that, Nick?
Perfect.
Cool, man. You want to add anything to that?
Hey, now, I was telling Nick, earlier. So, you know how most people, like when they talking about zones, well, I can't say most people. You know how you do when you do your zones, you mostly base it like off the 4 hour or whatever in the weekly.
Yeah.
And you mostly trade it like that.
Yep.
So I was telling Nick earlier, like there is a such thing of having like 15-minute zones on tickers. And like if you're gonna scalp, you can play your 15-minute zones instead of, you know what I'm saying, having them off a bigger time frame.
Yeah.
And then you got a whole bunch of other stuff for your, you know, when you try to scalp it, there's a whole different time frame. So like if you can find those zones for the smaller time frames, then you're able to play them. But I'm pretty sure you're more able to explain that than I am.
Yeah, definitely. You can definitely scalp in between those zones. And I mean, we can honestly just make another stream based on that if you like So yeah, that's actually a good idea. We'll make a stream on that one, maybe tomorrow, so the guys can basically have an idea on how to scalp with zones. How's that sound?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Because that's what. Because I think Ruben, I think some of his is like that. Because I know he was saying his are different from yours. And I think his was like on the 15 or something like that. And he always killing it. So that's why I was trying to tell Nick, like, you're able to do that.
Yeah.
Because it works the same way.
Yeah, and the part of it too, man, is having a set plan, having a structured plan. Because mentally, whenever you have a structured plan, you're always going to follow it.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you stray away from your structured plan is the minute you're going to take losses. And I'm talking like some serious losses. I'm not talking about like getting stopped out, because getting
Right.
stopped out, it's you specifically managed your risk. So there comes the emotional part of trading as well, because if you did not have a plan to trade that specific ticker, then you're stopping out for no reason, but then you're cutting loss for no reason. See, I cut my Facebook play when it made sense for me. And it made sense for me on the 4-hour time frame, not on the 5-minute nor the 15-minute.
Yeah.
So I did enter on the 15-minute, okay, but I knew my levels at the 4-hour chart. So that was the big difference. So yeah, so anybody who has any type of structure is gonna play their structure, and the minute that they play it, they're gonna be profitable. And the minute that they stray away from it, they're not gonna be profitable. Yeah, they're gonna take a nice loss. And again, that's when the emotions kick in. So it's just a matter of, you know, being able to come back into the market and understanding like how you're trading and what you're trading. Just like I explained now with Facebook. My Facebook was a cut loss. I just took a big loss. I come in, you know, today with a fresh start. I come in open with a green P&L, thanks to Tesla swing play that I called out in the chat. And I took profit at open. So I had a nice cushion for me to actually trade something, but yet I still scalped Facebook. And yet I'm able to hold BABA a little longer. So it's an emotional learning experience, you know, when it comes to these two tickers. And I hope that this helps somebody, because I know everybody goes through the same thing. And sometimes it's very difficult to identify those issues, but if you can identify them and work with them, that's what makes us better traders. And that is the point of all this here. That is why we're sitting here talking about these specific emotions and the way we traded today. And we're actually done trading, so we're good. No, but yeah, definitely, James. We will definitely make a video on that, on how to have like some discipline and some structure, man. That's actually a great idea. So we'll definitely work on that whenever you're free again.
Yeah, for sure. Bro, Shaq is up 70-64.
Yeah, great call out, by the way.
That's insane.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys.
Stuff.
Yeah. We'll just end the stream there, Nick, James.
Sounds
Yep.
good.
Thank you guys for always being part of these videos, man. You guys freaking rock.
No problem, man.
So yeah, we'll share this in the group. Hopefully help somebody out. And if anybody has, you know, questions, or just anybody in general who needs help with these emotions, you know, DM me. You know, it's something that I told my guys is, you know, find yourself a trading partner and hold yourself accountable. And honestly, talk to each other about those plays through DMs. And that is
Always.
yeah, that is kind of like the best way to do it.
Me, Nick, and Trevor always talking.
Yeah, and that's cool.
Yep.
Because you guys get to hold each other accountable, and, you know, especially talk through those things out, you know, because you don't always have to talk about these emotions, you know, in the chat, because a
Right.
lot of people see it as weakness. Like, hey, I don't want you to think I don't want you to think that, you know, I'm a horrible trader, or any of those things, man. And that's not the point. The point is that we're gonna learn, we're gonna hold each other accountable, and we're gonna take this, you know, to another level, and we're gonna help each other grow, build each other, you know, and that's the goal. So
I'm gonna be. I feel like. Oh, you done recording, Nick?
no, we're recording.
Oh, I know. I don't know. Like, I feel like I've gotten really, really comfortable with playing like my levels. Now I just have to execute my levels. That's it.
Yeah, that's kind of what Bueller was telling me is like really like I mean, you know by the people you see trading every day and all that like the system works and like your levels work and that kind of stuff. And it's like you really just have to learn to trust it and to execute on it and to
Exactly.
plays.
That's exactly it.
That's
That
it,
guy's
guys.
awesome. That guy's awesome.
Which guy, Bueller?
Yeah.
Of course he is, man. He helps a lot of people, and a lot of people
Man.
need to like direct message him. The funny thing about it, man, is that there's a lot of groups out there that offer great things. Okay, I will not take away from any of those groups. Okay,
Yeah, for sure.
I always tell you guys not to trade with integrator scale. I will always tell you guys not to trade on 5-minute charts because it is my style of trading. I trade on the 15, the 4-hour, and the weekly, and that's how I play. I play zones. That's who I am. But I will never knock you for who you are as a profitable trader. Okay, I will never knock another group that is doing great for themselves, because if they're doing great, then they have a system and the system works for them.
Yeah, that'd be crazy to say something like that.
Yeah, and the thing about Bueller is that he offers his own time to provide value through those direct messages. I know he has a lot of direct messages, and he doesn't charge. You know, he doesn't say, "Hey, I'm going to charge you, you know, to give you this piece of advice." Like, he doesn't do that. He sees everything as a family oriented, you know, message, motivation, inspiration, and growth. All he wants to do is help other people learn, grow, and literally profit together. That's what he wants to see, and he takes his time out of his day to do that. You know, he runs these direct messages, man. He's in there live trading with everybody. He's on the voice chat with everybody. Like, come on,
Man, he be going in.
If somebody cannot see the value in someone like that, then I don't know. There's nothing else I can really, you know, say to that. And I'm not saying this to pump him up. I'm not saying this, you know, to get people in the chat. Like, I'm not saying that for any of those reasons. I'm saying that because it's a legit, honest, you know, thought process on how I feel about Bueller and how I see him, how I view him. He's somebody who is freaking great. It's that simple. I don't care if he's not a millionaire. I don't care if he doesn't drive a Lamborghini. That I could care less about that, man. It's not about the material things. It's not about the things that you have or how fast you're growing. It's the fact that you're taking your time to provide for other people to
Heck yeah.
the value is just value. It's that simple.
Bro, it's so much value though. That's what's crazy.
It's a lot. But anyways, I'm done talking about Bueller. He's probably gonna cry when he sees this. And another thing about Facebook, here you go.
Oh.
Here's your big bull flag. I mean, if that's not a bull flag or a channel down, then I don't know what that is. But over that 265, you guys will be okay to take it into the next level. Then the next level will be around the 270 area. So don't be scared to take this one long. Don't be scared if the market pulls back. But yeah, I'm done, guys. Hopefully this video helps somebody. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, James.
Yeah.
No problema.
And I'll see you guys in the chat in a few minutes, all right?
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.